Hello, welcome to our RecapPlus channel with me, Matthew. Today we will watch a recap movie called Jolt, released in 2021. This is a spoiler content video. So please turn on the subtitle and let's start the story. Lindy Lewis had a traumatic childhood, plagued by the lack of care from both of her parents. Her traumas only deepened with time, leading to her now suffering from intermittent explosive disorder. She could unleash her anger with even the mildest trigger. Despite numerous failed treatments and a stint in the military aimed at helping her channel her rage, there was no improvement in her condition. Then, her psychiatrist, Dr. Munchkin, came up with a treatment plan. He provided her with an electric shock vest, which Lindy used to control her impulses and prevent herself from engaging in violent altercations. One day, in an attempt to lead a normal life, Lindy went on a date with a guy named Justin. She contemplated bailing out at the last moment but decided to give it a chance, as he appeared to be a kind person to spend time with. During their conversation, a waitress repeatedly rejected the dishes Justin wanted, which provoked Lindy's anger, but she managed to control herself. However, while using the restroom, Lindy overheard the waitress making fun of Justin. Lindy attempted to use her device, but it had become less effective. Unable to restrain herself, she confronted and physically assaulted the waitress before hastily leaving the restaurant without informing Justin. The following morning, Lindy took the device to Dr. Munchkin and requested him to repair it. As he worked on it, he inquired about her date the previous night. Lindy believed the date had been a failure since she had hurt someone again. Although Dr. Munchkin returned the device, he emphasized that the only permanent solution to her issue was to build a deeper connection with someone and urged her to consider a relationship. Lindy left without responding. Despite having no plans to see Justin again, she unexpectedly called him and asked for a meeting. During their next encounter, they got along well, and she even shared her passion for photography with him. They went to Lindy's place, where he attempted to kiss her. However, she became upset, fearing that she might harm him as well. Justin later learned about her vest but didn't seem concerned and spent the night with her. The next morning, Lindy received a gift from Justin, a camera. She was overwhelmed by the thoughtful present and thanked him. When he inquired about her medical equipment, she reluctantly shared her disorder with him. She requested him to stay longer, but he needed to return to his office, where he worked as an accountant. He invited her to his house for dinner before leaving. Lindy was elated by this unexpected connection and shared her happiness with Dr. Munchkin. Since she hadn't used her device the previous night, she considered that this relationship might not require it. After visiting the doctor, she spent the day taking pictures with her new camera. As she prepared for dinner, she received a message from Justin, indicating that he might be late. When she called him, she was informed by Detective Vickers that Justin had been murdered. Lindy rushed to the police station, where Vickers and Detective Niven informed her that his lifeless body had been found in a dumpster. She felt that they weren't taking enough interest in the case and left, deciding to investigate on her own. She attended Justin's funeral, grieving his death and recalling the brief time they spent together. Struggling to control her emotions, she met Dr. Munchkin again, who prescribed sedatives to help her calm down. Upon waking up, she told him about Justin and her suspicion that his only client, Barry, might be involved in the murder. Dr. Munchkin tried to dissuade her, urging her to let the police handle it, but Lindy had resolved to take matters into her own hands. Despite his attempts to stop her, as he feared she might harm someone, Lindy proceeded with her plan and left the clinic after issuing a threat. She called Detective Vickers and asked him to visit her at her house. As he left the office, she sneaked into the building, stealing Justin's belongings from the evidence room. She obtained Justin's address from his wallet and visited his apartment to search for clues. As she searched, Vickers called her, expressing his disapproval of her actions. He informed her that his partner wanted to arrest her but gave her another chance, mentioning that Niven was on her way. Lindy quickly left the apartment and encountered Niven at the door. Niven accused her of murder and intended to take her to the police station. Since Vickers was still on the phone, Lindy shared the phone with Niven and fled after attacking her. From the parking lot, she stole Justin's McLaren and sped away. Niven and Vickers pursued her but ended up in an accident, allowing Lindy to escape. The next morning, she visited a mobile store and asked the manager to connect her with a hacker. The manager introduced her to Andy, and Lindy requested her to break into Justin's phone. While running a check, Andy asked if her boyfriend was a drug dealer, as he had cleared all information from the phone. Lindy clarified that he was just an accountant. The phone only contained information about an arms dealer named Barry Kersparky, whom Lindy believed was Justin's only client, though he hadn't disclosed his profession. Determined to go after Barry, Lindy thanked Andy and left, leaving a set of keys as payment. She arrived at Barry's address and learned that he organized paid fights. She directly questioned him about Justin's murder, but he didn't share any information with her. Seeing her determination, Barry challenged Lindy to fight his 3 best men in exchange for the information she sought, and she agreed. After defeating all 3 of them, Barry announced the results of the fight and took her with him. In the car, Barry's men attempted to kill her, revealing that they had tricked her earlier. However, Lindy fought back and managed to overpower them, ultimately forcing Barry to reveal what she wanted to know. Barry disclosed that his boss, Gareth Faisal, was the one who had killed Justin. He also revealed that finding Faisal would be incredibly challenging, as he was an influential man, and even the government was hesitant to pursue him. Meanwhile, Detective Niven visited Vickers at the hospital and informed him about Lindy's history of violence and assault due to her anger issues. After Niven left the room, Lindy appeared and thanked Vickers for his earlier warning. She also informed him that she had found the killer and asked him to arrest Faisal, but Vickers explained that they couldn't do anything without evidence. When Vickers asked why she was so determined to find Justin's killer, even though they had only met a couple of times, Lindy revealed that he was the only genuinely kind person she had met recently. Touched by her concern, Vickers provided her with Faisal's address but warned her not to go there alone. As they discussed the situation, Nivens arrived and attempted to arrest her, but Lindy managed to escape once more. She arrived at Faisal's office building, where his security officer, Delacroix, agreed to take her to his office but then knocked her down in the elevator. Delacroix confiscated her vest and forced her out of the building. In the car, Lindy continuously missed her vest, and when the driver refused to stop, she attacked him, resulting in an accident. She managed to escape from the car and left the scene. Later, she met Dr. Munchin again and requested him to build her another device after recounting her adventures. After having dinner with him, she returned to her apartment but discovered that someone was already inside. She entered through the window and found that Faisal's men had set up a booby trap to kill her in an explosion. After disarming the device, she took it with her and set another bomb in the apartment to stage her death. As she left the building, she encountered Vickers, who wanted to arrest her for her own safety but got distracted when her apartment exploded, allowing her to disappear once more. Vickers called her and tried to dissuade her from pursuing Faisal, urging her to let the authorities handle it. However, Lindy believed they wouldn't arrest him and ignored his concerns, proceeding with her plan. She reached Faisal's office building but was caught by Delacroix again. Delacroix took her to Faisal, who confessed to killing Justin and many other innocent people. As Lindy struggled to contain her anger, Delacroix knocked her unconscious with a blow to the head. When she woke up, she found herself tied to a chair. Lindy managed to free herself and attack Delacroix, forcing him to reveal the location of Faisal's secret office. After defeating the security guards on her way, Lindy reached the office but was shocked to find that someone had already killed Faisal, shooting him in the head. Before she could understand what had happened, Justin suddenly appeared in the room. Lindy couldn't believe her eyes, as she had attended his funeral. Justin explained that he was a CIA agent who had used her to get to Faisal, as they didn't want to directly involve themselves. He revealed that Dr. Munchin had recommended her, as he worked for them and they funded his research. Justin attempted to kill her with an electric shock, but the device no longer worked on her, as she had become resistant to it. Lindy retaliated, tossing her bag to him before rushing out of the building. Justin couldn't comprehend her actions, but the explosive in her bag detonated, killing him. After escaping from the building, Lindy visited Dr. Munchin and accused him of using her for his own purposes. He apologized, claiming that he was unaware of Justin's plan. As they argued, Vickers and Niven arrived and found Lindy pinning Dr. Munchin to the wall. They initially believed she was attempting to kill him and shot her in the leg but quickly realized she was handcuffing him to hand him over for arrest. After taking her to the hospital, Vickers admired her determination, and both of them helped her cover her tracks. They returned her device, which they had taken from her in the ambulance. Vickers asked her out, and Lindy agreed to consider it. After recovering from her injuries and being discharged from the hospital, Lindy returned to her burnt apartment to collect her remaining belongings. She was visited by a mysterious woman who turned out to be Justin Sr. The woman offered Lindy a job at the agency, saying it would help her channel her rage, but Lindy declined. The hacker, Andy, discovered that Lindy's payment to her was actually a McLaren. The end.